For my next question, Red Bandit was curious about two recent musical blockbusters and their historical accuracy. If people can forgive The Greatest Showman for sugarcoating its source material, then why can't they do the same for Bohemian Rhapsody? That is a brilliant question. Both of these movies received mixed critical reviews and became massive audience favorites, but there were concerns about how they tackled their subjects, although Bohemian Rhapsody was the more contested when it came to how it twisted real-life events. I think the main thing that separates Bohemian Rhapsody was how it presented itself as the true story of Queen and Freddie Mercury. This was the official band-approved account of what happened, and so there was a sense they were trying to make it an authentic recreation. Instead, they changed the order of events, and that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, who felt Freddie Mercury deserved better. I know my biggest problem with the movie is the filmmakers made a very by-the-numbers musician biopic, with all the cliches common in these sorts of movies. The parents who don't approve, the band breakup, the song they're told it won't be a hit, and then it is, etc. It was disappointingly ordinary, and Queen, and especially Mercury, became successful because they weren't ordinary. One of the most notable changes from real life was the notion that Queen broke up and then made up so they could perform at Live Aid. In fact, they performed together 8 weeks before Live Aid. That ties into one of the main issues people had with the movie, in that Brian May and Roger Taylor are mostly portrayed as the responsible ones holding the band together, with Mercury depicted as some sort of party animal who was frequently late to the studio and a prima donna. Mercury was known for his parties, but May and Taylor, shown as trying to hold him in line, kind of shows their influence over the project. There was also issue taken with how his bisexuality was depicted in the film, especially when his ex-girlfriend, Mary Austin, says he's not bisexual, he's gay, something I highly doubt she said in real life, as she was very supportive of him coming out. Meanwhile, The Greatest Showman sold itself as more of a fantasy and a lavish musical spectacle. It never attempted to paint an accurate portrait of P.T. Barnum, with his circus serving as more of a backdrop for highly energized musical numbers. The Greatest Showman probably has the most in common with Moulin Rouge, another period musical with a contemporary flourish in its songs and choreography. The intent was never to accurately show the Moulin Rouge cabaret and Toulouse-Lautrec as they really were in the early 20th century, and nobody watched Moulin Rouge looking for that. Similarly, few people likely watched The Greatest Showman to see Barnum's life story brought to life. People did watch Bohemian Rhapsody to witness Freddie Mercury's life retold and experience his concerts recreated for the big screen. That's not to say The Greatest Showman did not have critics bothered by its sugarcoating of history. A large reason for the movie's mixed critical reviews was that it shied away from showing Barnum's less admirable traits. I read a number of reviews that complained about the movie avoiding Barnum's treatment of animals, how he exploited the people in his circus for profit, and criticized the film for painting singer Jenny Lind as some sort of homewrecker. His show business partner, James Anthony Bailey, doesn't even get a mention. However, the movie also did not depict Barnum's political career, where he fought for the abolition of slavery. I did a quick read-up of Barnum's life before watching The Greatest Showman, and I came away feeling he was one of those historical figures who had his good and bad traits. He was neither an inspirational figure nor a terrible person. But if you ask most moviegoers who turned the movie into a box office sensation, they'll say they liked it for Hugh Jackman's charming performance, its memorable songs, and the Broadway-style choreography. I actually think if The Greatest Showman had just changed everyone's names and said it was inspired by Barnum and Bailey types, some critics would have been more receptive to the film. In the end, I think that's the key difference. The Greatest Showman never tried to be a biography about its main subject. Bohemian Rhapsody did. Thank you for your question, Red Bandit.